Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining. We are here. This is Taryn Blake speaking, and we're here for another session of our Technomatics virtual user group. Today's topic for the community conversation is on random worker behavior. As most of you know, our speaker for this series is Stefan Bongsel. He is a freelance simulation expert with many years of expertise in this domain, including hundreds of projects and training sessions. He's been doing these sessions for us at Siemens Digital Industry Software for about a year, and we definitely appreciate and enjoy them. Stefan has published 5 books on plant simulation and is working on a 6th. He is one of the leading contributors to our Siemens PLM community. Now, for today's topic, the 4 big steps for the random worker behavior, or 3 big steps, are services and priorities, creating random high priority requests, separating statistical values. Of course, we are live at this moment. Stefan will be doing the tutorial live, and then of course, there will be opportunity for live Q&A at the end of his tutorial. But that is all for my introduction, and Stefan, I'll hand it over to you.
Hello again for our next webinar. Today's webinar's topic is again a walker and walking with the walker here. We make a little experiment, very simple model. We have one source, we have a station, we have a train. We connect all this together with connectors. For the walker, we need a walk place. We place this in front and activate the processing importer and the failure importer. And we need one broker and one walker pool. Now we check again here the importers. We have an importer for processing, and we have activated the failure importer. And we need to create a failure here for the station. So like in the basic setting here, 95% availability with maybe 10 minutes on MTDR. And then we try to run this simulation. So it's run. This simulation only runs until the first error accounts here. Our worker now has a problem because if there is a failure, Blend simulation only holds the service of this worker here, and so the broker cannot mediate this worker again for the failure that happens here, and so our simulation will stop. To make it run, we need to do 2 steps. First step is the failure importer needs to have a higher priority. Basic setting for the priority is 0. I set it to 10, for instance. This is the first setting we have to do. And the second setting is in the processing importer, we have to activate can be interrupted and thrown off. So if there is a higher priority service, then Blend simulation will interrupt here this service. The broker becomes free for a new mediation, and then the broker can mediate this worker for the error handling here. Okay. And now you can see this is running. Sometimes you have a failure, and then this worker will do the failure, the repair he needs, and we can check this with a diagram. just drag the worker pool on a chart, and we see, okay, he has a big portion of working, and here he is repairing. The same worker can now repair, can do both of these services. And so this is important if you have only one worker and the worker has to do all these steps. But we can use this setting for the worker also for modeling some random effects on the worker. And today I want to make together with you one model to consider, for instance, toilet times for the worker into the simulation. Okay, I delete this station here with all the settings, and we create a basic model for this. I want to have 3 stations. One station, second source with a station, then I need one buffer. I make it a little bit smaller here, and one assembly station. And finally a buffer. And a drain. And we connect all together in this way. And then connect first this buffer to the assembly station, and then the second station, and finally we connect this and this. We need workplaces on the stations, and we activate here the transport importer and the processing importer. This happens in the last versions of Blend Simulation with just by tracking here the workplace near the station. Then Blend Simulation will ask you what kind of importer you want to activate. I want to have processing, and if I again drag it, then I can select also the transport importer. The same here for this station. I need processing and I need transport. I don't need an importer here. At the assembly station, again, I need processing and transport. And here I need no importer. Okay, this is our first basic setting. Please check the importer. In this station, we need the importer for processing and transport. The same here, importer for processing and transport. Here, we don't need the transport importer. In the assembly station, we need the importer for processing and the importer for transport. And here I don't need any importer for this buffer. Please set a process time of 3 minutes at each station. So next, I want to adjust a little bit the worker from the class library, and so duplicate the worker here, and you will find this duplicated worker in the folder user objects, and I rename this worker in worker 1. And I want to have some adjustments here. This worker should offer 2 different services. Additional to this services, he should offer a service 1. And one service named T underline worker 1. This I need for the dynamic creation of jobs for this worker. Okay, and this I will take as a blueprint for create all 3 workers. So first I need some data. I want to create the behavior. I want to create some random toilet visits for the worker, and I need some data for this to simulate this. Would be quite difficult to request this data from observations, for instance. I need 3 different data for the workers. I need a max toilet time as time, maybe 20 minutes if you have to read the newspaper and read all the news on your phone. And then I need a minimum toilet time if you are really much in hurry, if you have a rush and not many time, or you don't need so much time for your business there, and maybe it's 2 minutes. And I need a mean time between the toilet visits. And I name this MTBTV, mean time between toilet visits, and this maybe is 2 hours. And I need a toilet here in my simulation. This could be a single station. Should be. I duplicate my station here. I name it toilet. And I change the the appearance of this block. I open it in 3D. I delete all the stuff here and create a new cuboid, 1 and 2.5 meters high. And I change this graphic here. I make it transparent. And I wanted to place over the workplace, and so I need to change here the 3D properties of the graphics. This shouldn't be an obstacle for the worker. He should be able to go in, and so it's a non-obstacle for the worker. So this is my toilet. I can here move the unknown light. So you'll see it's occupied and walking. Okay, we can make this also for smoking or a coffee machine or a chat place. So these place a little buffer before. And we need a train behind, so we can delay our toilet jobs. And we need a workplace for processing. And we can turn it around. And move it away a little bit from the production area. Oh yeah, my workplace has changed its set position. No. Okay, you can check the obstacles with the key O. And it's okay. My toilet house here has no obstacles, and so the worker can go in this object. Okay, this is my basic setting here. Now the approach I want to show you. The worker should create randomly some kind of toilet job for, it's a MU. And the MU will enter here into this block and will change the service so that only the worker that wants to go to the toilet is requested here from the broker. And this we make with a random duration. We have to set here in the toilet entrance control, and the worker itself will create with this random interval its own toilet visits. And so I want to extend this worker here by some user-defined methods. The first method should be toilet job or a smoke job or coffee job, what you want to do. And this is a method. So I need one MU here For instance, this part E, I name it toilet job. And I create this toilet job here in this buffer, in the predecessor of toilet. And I renamed this buffer to buffer underline T. Okay, just drag your MU here into the editor. Oh, it's too early. I need a variable var g object. EG is user object toilet job point create. In buffer underline G. And we need to address the toilet job. So we need to know, okay, who is creating this job? And so we need to create a user-defined attribute here in this MU. I name it worker. And should be only a string. This is a user-defined attribute in the toilet job. And to order the right worker, I need its name. And we are inside of the worker, and so self point tilde, so we get access to the worker here. And the name is the name of the worker. And then we dice a new distance for the next visit. And so I need one variable t as time, and t should be, we can use, for instance, the negative exponential distribution of plan simulation with set underline neg x. We can use root point my mean time between toilet visitors with MTBTV for create a new distance. This is the time until the next visit. And then we call this method with this delay, self point execute. We can create this, call this method with this new distance here. And then again, this method will create a new job MU, and this will enter the toilet, and there we need to change the service of the toilet so that the program is calling the right worker here. Okay, this is the first part. Root. The second part is we need entrance control in the toilet. Create here entrance control F4 and activate before actions. This is very important. First, we need to set a proc time. Something in between min and max time. Here we can use the method set uniform for uniform distributed time. And we need to change the service. We need to change the service of the processing importer. And for this, I create a table variable. And the service table has 3 columns. The first type is string. The second column is integer. It's first is the name of the service. The second is the quantity of the service. And the third column is the name of an alternative service. If you want to send another worker instead of the right worker to the toilet, we don't need this here. And then we need to create this table and fill this table with data t11. And I want to make here the service dynamically with t underline, and then the name of the worker plus add point worker. And in the second column, I need to write the quantity, and this is 1. And I set the service table with question mark. This is here my toilet imp. This is the processing importer, and set services. This replaces the values in this services table with the table I define here. And so the right worker is be called, and if the MU then reaches my toilet, then the broker will become the right request, or will become the request for the right worker. Okay. This we have now done for 1 worker, and I want to change here. I don't know if I have already changed the service of this. This should be service 1. And I need to change the creation table of the worker pool, so that we create not resources worker. We need to create this worker 1 here with my programming behind. And then I guess we can already check if this is working. He will make only one job here. Oh, I have forgot one. We need to start this internal method here for worker 1. So I open again this worker 1. User defined attribute. I can create also here inside the worker an init method. I create here one init method. And this init method will also be called by the event controller. And here I need to create the first call for this toilet job. And I want to do this also with a random interval here. T ist gleich set x. Oh. So this will create a new random distance. And with this distance, I call the first time this toilet job. And then this toilet job will call itself again with this random interval. Okay, and now it should work. Okay, the random interval is 2 hours, and so it's, yeah, he visited. Oh, he is still here with the part. Okay. And now I want to duplicate this for other workers. I want to have 3 workers. And so I just duplicate this worker here in the class library. Change its name to worker 2, for instance. And I need to change the services. Worker 2, I take service 2 and T worker 2 as service. And one more. So I take this one, duplicate it again, and make it to worker 3. Change the services. And I assign this service here to the station. First, the first worker should make this station, the second, the station 1 here, and the third should work only on the assembly station. And so I change here the service table of the importers to service 2. and transport importer the same. And for the assembly station, same. I changed the service here to service 3. And the transport importer also. Okay, then we can set here in the toilet, in this importer, the priority higher than 0, and the broker will, if there's more than one job waiting for this worker, then the broker will sort the requests by priority. And so if it's really urgent to go to toilet, then the broker will mediate this job first. And then we can decide if we want to finish the job here, if there's a new random job for the worker, or if we want to interrupt the old job. And this is what I have shown you at the start. You can decide if there is such a high priority request for the service, if its actual work should be interrupted, and if the worker can be drawn off by the broker to another importer. And if you have long jobs with some hours length, then you can select here this, or if you have some other really urgent jobs. And now we can make a test. Oh, I need to create my workers. In the worker table here, I need a new line. One for worker 2. And one for worker 3. Okay, now we see sometimes the workers visiting here our bathroom, but we can also see this statistically because the broker will collect the data about the services that the broker will mediate here. You can go into the broker here and then view and show a statistics report. And there you can see here the statistics of the services. We have service 1, 2, 3, and a lot of other services. And then we have transport, a lot of. And we have T, worker 1, 2, 3, and this is our services that we created for the toilet. And this we can move out here. We can create an nsim method. And I need a table for this. And the method to read this from the broker is service stat. And I need to specify a table where we write that services. Yeah, we write data. And now we only need to set here an end, maybe 20 days. And we see now here there's somewhere transport. I guess I have missed the change on worker 3 on the transport importer. Oh no. Somewhere the transport importer is still active with another importer. Yeah. Okay. One change I missed here. So now I have the statistics of the worker here in this area, and the broker is counting the jobs, how many jobs everybody has done, and how many time it took in total to fulfill these jobs here. And so we can create deep insight statistics for the worker and the services the worker provided here. Okay, this approach you can use to include a lot of different random influences for the workers. Every time the same, you create some job somewhere in a buffer, and then you need to change dynamically the service table of the place you want to be in this time, so that the broker is made it the right worker to this place. This could be also a coffee machine or a telephone or some place where you have to help some other guy, or there are so many cases where you have random influences for the worker. It's quite difficult to find data for this. But if you don't work in Germany, and if you have electronic access devices where you can where you have electronic keys, for instance, to open doors, then you can check the location of the worker, and you can really get this data. It's quite puzzling for me, but it's possible. But this could be also some anonymous inference be. Yes, and this is the end of my webinar today. Any questions?
And I'll give everyone a moment while they're thinking about questions and share once more with you the slide that tells about the community forums for Technomatics. So you should see now on the screen a slide that is showing a URL to the Plant Simulation Virtual User Group. It will take you to the forums, and this is an area of the community forums that is only for this series that you're on right now with Stefan, a place to ask questions about plant simulation and technomatics, and where we post all of the video recordings, including this one, and where we post the next topics and registration. There's also a question or a pinned post there about topics. So that's one place to leave them if you think of something later after today for a suggestion. That it takes a couple of clicks, but we recommend that you sign up for email notifications and click to receive every post, because this is a very narrow area of the forums. Again, it's only videos and registration for this series. Our next topics, the last topic of the year, last session of the year, will be on Wednesday, December 11th. So that is free driving AGV basics. Then we'll take some time off for the holidays and return in the middle of January on Wednesday, January 15th. And that session will be about making a 3D worker sit at a workstation. And then the screen that you're seeing now is just the contact information for Stefan's profile in the community. Awesome.
Thank you.
We'll see you guys next time. Bye, everyone.